Okay, I asked ChatGPT, what is this ordinance? It's OU40-7.B, and it said it couldn't find this ordinance. So I had to go more to the internet and then go on to the Wisconsin statute websites, or maybe it's the county of Outagamie, and look up the ordinance. ChatGPT or Google Gemini can't just simply look it up, so I had to kind of take it upon myself to find it. So I found it, and then I have some questions here about it. But the definition for this ordinance is that, let's see, they got definitions. Let's see, camping means any singular or group activity in any county park that would cause a reasonable person to construe such activity as being conducted to establish temporary quarters or lodging in portable shelters, including automobiles, sleeping bags, trailers, or tents in any county park. Camping, and then I was B, and under B it says camping allowed only in specific areas. No person shall camp in any area other than those specified for such purpose. So that's a wide range of descriptions between automobiles and sleeping bags. They're calling a sleeping bag a temporary quarter. So maybe blankets, just if you just have a blanket, then you're in the clear. But they're picking on things that they consider, and this just includes, so there could be other things like things that you can get inside. Okay, and because they're saying automobiles, that leaves all cars subject to scrutiny for camping. And I've been arguing that if you also have a spoon or a fork that's in plain sight in the car for the cop to see, then they can associate that car plus the spoon or fork as being camping gear and all encompassing. Let's see. I asked about the shoes outside the car. ChatGPT says that shoes outside the car might not be enough to constitute camping, but if it suggests that you are staying in the area for an extended period, it could be seen as part of establishing temporary quarters. So ChatGPT is suggesting that just shoes alone, and this isn't something that takes a lot of effort to set up as a part of like a tent. I mean, these are shoes that I just kind of lay on the ground, and I can pick them up. I mean, that's it. That's the way the cop described it. What did he say? My shoes were like formatted, the formation of shoes on the ground. He said something like that. He tried to make it sound like there was more steps involved to getting shoes off my feet and onto the ground, or to separate my feet from my shoes. He's making it sound like there's an effort beyond what's considered normal for other people who use shoes. Screens on the windows are more indicative of setting up a temporary living space, as they suggest you are preparing to sleep or stay inside the car. So yes, I mean, I have screens up that are permanent, that are perfectly legal. You're allowed to cover the back windows and also the back window, the very back window, hatchback window. So I mean, that's just what I use. I use that for driving too. I mean, I have not gotten in an accident in all the 12 years I've been traveling. I mean, I don't see them as a big problem. I mean, truck drivers cover the back of their windows, so it's just, I mean, those kind of arguments really work towards oppressing people by being hypersensitive towards common activities that other people do, that even themselves, even the cops may do themselves. And as somebody mentioned out, the car next to me had very tinted windows. I'm not exactly sure what the tint law is, but I mean, you can't really see in to that van that was next to me. If these activities are seen as part of establishing temporary quarters or lodging, they could potentially violate the ordinance if done in a non-designated camping area. It would depend on the interpretation of the enforcement officers and whether they believe your actions constitute camping under the ordinance's definition. So, yeah, the deputy, he believes that that's camping, and he'll take it to court. I mean, he's writing a report. If I have to pay to see it, I'm not gonna pay to see it, but I'll do a records request at the sheriff's office as soon as I can. I think the courthouse is the first priority, because that's where the buck stops with the prosecutor and the judge, and maybe it's not even in the courthouse. I took a picture of it. It's a commissioner. Apparently, there's some kind of a commissioner judge, so it's a little bit different than the judge executives, and different judge executives in Kentucky. Judge executives kind of oversee the whole courthouse, but it's also different from Milwaukee too, because Milwaukee's cited me for prowling and loitering, which I have a trial for in August, or July. In July, I have a trial in August for Natchitoches, Louisiana, for failure to ID, and now this charge is another trial, or another first court cases in September, and I want to try to get that pushed up if I can, because I mean, it's only June. I have to stick around July, August. I have to stick around 3 months to wait on this court hearing. You know, I'm not interested in doing that. I'd like to push it forward a little bit. Let's see. Setting up common situations that involve temporary quarters. So I asked about temporary quarters. It includes activities suggested someone is setting up a temporary living space or staying overnight. Setting up a temporary living space. All right, setting up tents or shelters, erecting tents, canopies, or other types of portable shelters. Sleeping in vehicles, using a vehicle as a place to sleep, particularly if it's parked in a way that suggests overnight or extended use. Screens on windows, personal items arranged inside, where I'm getting accused of items arranged outside. My articles of clothing outside the car. Sleeping bags and bedding, or arranging blankets and pillows as if to sleep. Cooking equipment, using portable stoves and grills, cooking equipment. Placing chairs, tables, or other personal items outside in a manner that suggests a prolonged stay. And see, that's interesting. I don't think shoes would be as indicative outside the car as much as a chair. So there's a little bit of a difference in the level of severity on determining whether you're camping in that area that's off limits for camping. Long-term parking, leaving a vehicle parked in the same spot for an extended period of time, especially with signs of habitation such as window coverings or items placed outside. Let's see, utility use, running electrical cords to the vehicle. These activities are generally seen as indicators of camping or setting up temporary quarters and could be construed as such by authorities enforcing camping restrictions in parks or other public area. All right, and then I asked, how much time would a reasonable person consider an extended period? All right, it could vary. A reasonable person might consider it, if you do it spending the night in a location is typically seen as establishing temporary quarters. So just one night, yes, you've established the quarters. Multiple hours, staying in one place for several hours, especially if it spans a significant part of the day or involves visible signs of settling in, cooking, sleeping. Well, look at security guard and how they camp in a booth, in a vehicle, some kind of shelter, and I mean they cook, they bring household items with them to their job, and just sit and watch. It looks like loitering. So there's some jobs where there's people just sitting around, like even at the courthouse where you got those people that sit at the scanner all day. They look to me like they're camping. They just sit there and talk and then cook a meal. They have microwaves, a kitchen. Okay, they're turning a lot of office buildings into park kitchens. They have a kitchen area, which really is a strong sign of camping to me, because they are establishing a more lengthy period of time that they stay there. You know, an 8-hour shift is in one spot. If they're not traveling around doing various jobs in other locations, if they're staying in one spot all day, they're camping. Okay, and they're getting paid to do it. Okay, and I see similarities between what people do in the office workers just sitting there in their office, wasting time, and then going to take breaks and hang out in the kitchen. They're camping. Okay, and somehow that is more acceptable than somebody hanging out in a park. Okay, it's a difference of designations, but I mean the activity is the same. So yeah, I mean it's okay to camp. It just depends on where you're at, and it's how they label it. Just like with the Supreme Court ruling, how you label the homeless. It's not a matter of whether they're poor or not, because you know, in the park, it could be just a hiker or some really rich person just wants to hang out in the park. It's just if they're there, then they're subject to the scrutiny of the regulations for that piece of property. But I mean, at this park, with Outagami, the sheriff's office, I didn't see any warnings. I mean, there wasn't. I mean, it's just suddenly a cop comes up and says I'm camping and gives me a ticket, and I didn't see that there's no time limit. I didn't see that there's a time limit. I mean, he's using the argument that my shoes are outside and there's screens on my windows, but those are common, pretty common activities for some people. Some people have argued that they could have dirty shoes. You want to dry your shoes off or clean them off in some way, but for leaving them outside of the car first. I've never been accused of camping because my shoes are outside. That's a new one for me. You know, these cops in Wisconsin get very creative. I had an issue with Rice Lake police who gave me a parking ticket because snow was on my car for an extended period of time. It was a recent snow, and so they could tell that my car didn't really move because the snow stayed on there for an extended period of time. They'll use these arguments, and I mean, to present those arguments in court, to face the scrutiny of reason, will be an interesting thing to do. I got to argue the matter of law with this. All right, but first I have to go through the same old process of asking for discovery, but once again, this might be a situation with Milwaukee, and the judge will just say something about I don't have the right to see evidence. Apparently, I have to make arguments to see evidence. So that'll be something I'll be learning tomorrow. But just trying to learn the law here, and I see it as a weak case. But once again, this is another weak case, and still it takes up time and concentration. I have to hold off other activities that I had plans. I don't have big plans, but still, with my small plans, they have to be held back so that I focus on the accusations, because I don't want the accusations anymore. So I want to work towards ending them, and it's easy to do. Just pay them $170, right? Just pay them $170, and the problem goes away, right? I don't know. You know, I think I'd like to fight that. I don't think that problem goes away. I think it incentivizes the cops to be a little harder, because my car gets picked on a lot. I get picked on for driving it, and I wonder, you know, what if I wasn't even in my car? I mean, I told that to the cop while we were inside the car. I was in handcuffs. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'll make sure to mention that you were inside the car, because that's a factor for him." So I'm helping the cop make stronger arguments that I was inside the car, so I was in control of it, in control of this temporary shelter, temporary lodging. So that's just another factor to consider as part of the temporary lodging argument to be used against me, because I was inside it. And that's simply because I asked the what if question. What if I was outside the car walking around? You just can't relax in a lot of parks, and you just never know which parks are going to be like this. Okay, I've had a couple other parks in the past. The cops show up and give me a hard time. I've never gotten a ticket for it. This is a first. I mean, I did get kicked out of Turtle Lake for hanging out on a parking lot. So Wisconsin does that stuff. I got that ticket in Menominee for parking in the wrong spot or something. So there's issues around Wisconsin with this. I did get a parking ticket in Menominee, but what do I do? I mean, I have to go to the courthouse. That's the next step. I don't know exactly their process here, especially when I see stuff about judge. The judges are not executives. They're commissioner judges. I report to in some way. This is my duty now to report on this issue and try to resolve it in an honorable way in a way that is most favorable, has the most favorable outcome to what I need, which is just, you know, not pay anything and let this and make this just, you know, come out reasonably. You know, I'm not looking for any special treatment or tricks. You know, I would like some logical arguments to be brought before the court. You know, there's these lack of warnings. In fact, I need to ask the sheriff about the restriction at the park, because I might need to return to the park to take pictures of it. I've gotten some pictures, but I need to look around and see, where does it say no camping? Where are these warnings ahead of time? Because usually I got trespassed, okay? So, and I was told it was for my attitude, but I mean, how long is the trespass? Is it lifetime? Is it 24 hours? And I need to look. I saw a billboard thing with stuff on it. It talked about no dogs allowed in the park. Talked about frisbee golf. I don't know, there's little rules about that. Didn't say anything about camping. So what am I to think of this?